Want candy now?
What is going on, everybody? Nasdorachi here, coming back at you today, early in the morning. Well, that's when I'm recording this anyway. But we have another episode for Dragon Ball Legends. So we did, over the middle of the night, get some pretty big news, and I've been kind of all over Reddit and Facebook, kind of checking things out and getting the general consensus on things. But we have some big news. I'm going to pop it on screen. I'm doing it right from OBS, so there's not going to be any special effects, but boom, we had this notification in-game. Thank you for your continued support of Dragon Ball Legends. In Dragon Ball Legends, arts moves can be cancelled by swiping, among other controls, and high-level combos can be created by skilled players. The game controls known among players as Sidestep and Dash Step were designed to give players the ability to cancel the immobility after activating strike arts or blast arts with a step or a boosted dash. So basically, breaking down this paragraph right here, it basically lets us know that sidestepping never was an exploit. It was a feature that was in the game by intent, but it's just like the original forward dash technique, a little bit too powerful. Too many people have griped and sent in support emails, and we're going to get to my opinion on the matter as well, just after we get through all of this. But basically, there's been enough of the community outcrying that it throws the balance of the game out of whack, and I can see actual finer points on both sides of the fence. So again, we're going to go over all that, but let's continue with this. It has come to our attention, however, that Sidestep and Dash Step provide too much of an advantage. Adjustments to this feature are planned to be implemented in an upcoming update. We understand that many players have mastered these features and may be opposed to the proposed adjustments. However, we've come to the decision after close observation and consideration for future effects on both PvP and character balance. That's a huge thing right there. We appreciate your understanding in the matter. We hope you continue to enjoy Dragon Ball Legends, blah blah blah, the management team. So I'm also now going to pop up in the gameplay window right here a video very closely showing you what exactly Sidestep is, just in case you didn't know, and as well, if you already know, it's something to look at that just shows you exactly what they're talking about. Now, the Key Blast cancel, I do believe, will be staying in the game, and that's where you're locked into a yellow arts card, or certain points during a red card you can swipe to cancel the animation, or again in the key arts you can forward swipe to shorten the animation. Those are the most likely the original intended purposes of the sidestep mechanic that the letter that I'm now getting rid of is talking about. They didn't necessarily intend for it to be such a powerful mechanic to allow you to extend your combos so greatly. And this is something that has been addressed once before in the game. If you've been playing it long enough, you will remember that we had the double dash technique, or the forward dash tech as I called it. And basically, it allowed for you to just continue to dash forward and get even more of the benefits that are still technically, I guess, out of balance even now to this day. It was even more powerful if you guys don't remember playing the game during that period of time. And as someone who made a video with 10,000 plus some odd views detailing how to do sidestep and how to do it with the yellow blast arts card as well, I feel like I'm enough of an authority to talk on this matter and to really discuss it from the perspective of not only a new player but as a pro player as well. So a lot of the community is completely divided. You have self-proclaimed or very good players, even like Vlad, who are on Reddit talking about how they're quitting the game before even seeing what the challenges entail, like before seeing what actually changes. So again, specifically, the notice says that they're changing the features, adjusting them, not completely removing them from the game. So I do believe that forward dash canceling out of blast arts cards and side dashing out of the red card as you're traveling towards the opponent to kind of fake them out, that does going to cost you a card and you won't be able to sidestep to regain it. But honestly, in my honest opinion, I do like sidestepping because it does bring a little bit more of the vibe from a game like Fighter Z or Marvel vs. Capcom or Street Fighter, where it's more fast-paced and player inputs on the actual fighting game side of things determine a lot of the outcome of battle. It is much more of a competitive PvP game-oriented mechanic that you would expect to see in a game like that. However, I'm not opposed to them actually changing it, and here's why. With new units like Hercule, who you see on screen, who I'm kind of showing the dash tech off with a little bit as well, with units like him, with Daimo Piccolo, with Android 16, who recovers half his health on cover exchange, and again, Daimo steals Dragon Balls, that's Demon King Piccolo. You have Hercule, who can destroy all the cards in opponent's hand and increase the cost of Blast Arts cards. A, they're trying to slow the battles down a little bit, which I'm not opposed to that inherently, but B, this is kind of the way that this game is shaping up to work mechanically speaking. They want this game to have a wide diversity of these little wonky or quirky mechanics that really impact or change the flow, the pacing of the game itself. Like, again, Android 16 coming in, regaining health. They want you to combo abilities like that well, and essentially deck build. Think of it almost something like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone or Pokemon. It's going to have that side of it. That's going to be part of the skill curve of this game, is properly building your team and getting that side of it going with the Z abilities. That's another huge aspect to this game. They want the skill to come from the characters themselves, building them properly, and then using those quirky abilities in battle to the best of your ability to gain control of the battle. So essentially, the developers want the skill in the game to come from the characters and how you use them and their mechanics and the tools that they provide, and they do not want the skill to necessarily come from how you physically play the game on your phone by doing inputs and timing and delaying. Like, undoubtedly some of that is very important with vanish meter and you know, properly gauging how to get that back, when to not do anything so that you gain that gauge back, or when to swap, when to do certain functions of that will always be kind of, you know, in this game. I truly feel it's like a hybrid of Xenoverse and something like Hearthstone or the Dragon Ball Super trading card game, the physical card game that's actually out right now. They're trying to run that fine line in between both of those types of games and keep it as balanced as possible. So again, right now, I totally feel the pain that top-level players are experiencing, because right now the game is heavily determined by your skill in using Sidestep. There are a lot of nuances with it, as in when to delay your inputs, you know, when to dash forward with a red card and sidestep out of it intentionally to then use a tap blast or a yellow card to kind of bait your opponent, and then if they vanish, when to delay and then try and vanish, or whether or not to not delay and instantly use a card. There are a lot of nuances with the sidestep system that really can show a wide gap between a pro player and someone who's just started playing the game, you know, this week. You know, these systems are in the game and pro players are using them, and it is part of that feel of an actual fighting game. But again, I do have faith in the developers that they are not going to just make this a mindless game where you exchange 4 cards and try and vanish and then run out of swaps and vanishes, run out of key, and 4 cards, back and forth. I don't think that that's what the developers are aiming for with this game. I really do believe that they're intending ultimately for this game to have, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of different sparking units in the game, and when you mix and match them and all these different crazy abilities that they're going to keep coming out with, like, you know, now that sidestepping may be changed, you don't get cards back, it's going to increase the viability of any units that come out in the future that increase the rate at which you draw cards. Alternatively, right now, with Hercule and Cooler destroying enemy cards, it's going to make that more painful because you're going to have to wait for your hand to refill before you're going to be able to initiate a fuller combo. So again, it's going to transfer some of the skill away from how you use your device to play and your physical inputs and your physical timing and all those nuances with the sidestep system. And it's going to shift a lot of that skill back into actual team building, into using these quirky mechanics, into systems that the developers are putting onto the cards themselves for players to use to control the battlefield. And again, I'm not opposed to that. There is a large debate going on right now as to whether or not it'll make whales even more powerful, because if you run out of options with baiting and switching, and you just end up with whoever's character can output more raw damage and gets the combos off is the winner, that way whales can win more often. It may seem that way right now, but ultimately, again, I don't think that that's going to be the case either, because of characters like Daimo Piccolo, for example, who can steal Dragon Balls. If you can get more Rising Rush off, it doesn't really matter if he's 3-star or 7-star. Mechanics like that physically change the way the game is played are going to be the determining factor ultimately in these games. They're putting a lot of it back into the mind games and not as much onto the physical skill aspect of doing these tap combos. But anyway, I've kind of rambled on the subject enough. I mean, personally, again, I do feel like this will allow for more diversity with different mechanics. Right now, the game is kind of locked into the sidestep meta, where the top players are all determined by these fighting game skill-based mechanics. And again, I'm ranked 50 and I'm in the top 5,000 right now. I pioneered a lot of the sidestep techniques that you may have seen from somebody else, or maybe you saw them from me. Either way, I'm not trying to take clout for, creating this technique or anything necessarily, but I'm just trying to say that I've been doing it since the day that me and some other people discovered it. And I'm not opposed to these changes, because a game like this that has this type of lifespan will always evolve, and with that, old metas will always die off, new metas will always emerge, and I'm with it. I'm here for the long haul with this game to see where the devs take it. Again, I think there will be so much unit diversity in this game that ultimately this change will just be water under the bridge a couple months down the road from now. Ultimately, the roster is not going to be that big, just by then. But, once the second year and then the third year, we're going to have so many units in this game, just similar to Dokkan, where your options are going to just be all over the place. And all these different mechanics, again, are really going to be the driving force for this game. Now, there's still plenty of room for debate. I'd love to hear your opinions on the matter down in the comments below, what you think about the changes. Are you happy about them? Are you not happy? Are you optimistic like me? Hopefully that the game developers can introduce enough mechanics into the game where changes like this will kind of rebalance the game and make it more fun for everyone, and still encourage new strategies and new metas for top tier gameplay. That's the faith that I want to have with the game. And again, honestly, I really feel like this game's worst enemy is time itself. They can't rush the roster in this game because summoning is expensive, and if they rush it, it'll just be, honestly, pardon my French, but a big clusterfuck. It's going to be too many units, too fast, not everyone will get enough of them. It would be too crazy if they paced it too fast. But at the same time, the developers cannot add crazy new game modes or new functions or anything too off the wall until the roster is more developed. So you have this this balance that only time can heal, because again, they can't rush the roster, but they can't develop boss rushes and survival modes and ultra hard dark type gauntlet battle mode, raid, whatever. They can't really add that until we have more of a roster, and they can't, again, rush the roster. So that's my opinion on all the sidestep stuff. Again, I was one of the original people that helped get it out there to the community, and I'm still open to the changes. So again, let me know how you feel down in the comments. If you enjoy the video, definitely toss me a thumbs up if you feel like it. I super appreciate it. Helps spread me out on YouTube. And if you're new around here, maybe you haven't seen any of my videos, but you know about Sidestep, you don't know about it. Either way, if you are new, I'd love to see you again on future videos, so consider subscribing. I will always be creating these Legends content videos until I get so thoroughly disgusted with the game that I'd give it up, which is not happening anytime soon, and definitely not happening because of adjustments to Sidestep, you guys. Again, I'm in it for the long haul, so I hope that I will see you again soon, and any pulls you make, I hope you guys have the best luck. Until next time, again, this is Nasdorachi. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out, you guys. We'll see you.